those update. That's
Yeah, it's fine, whatever. We're back. Anyway, welcome back to the tower. It has been a little bit of time, but now that we have returned, I am your storyteller, chaos and order in equal measures, and it is my job to make sure that these people receive both rewards and terrible consequences for their actions. And it has been far too long, so the consequences versus rewards balance may be tipped in one direction or the other. So we'll see how that goes. But to quickly introduce everyone so we can just dive right on into this story, I am Ree. I am the storyteller here on this wonderful channel, and apparently I've also been saving the universe with some other people recently. So you should definitely check those streams out. And we're going to start our introductions this time with Quinn.
Well, first off, I mean, I don't feel like you're obligated as a storyteller to make terrible, chaotic things happen to us. Just throwing it out there. But hello, my name's Quinn. I enjoy playing Dungeons and Dragons and other TTRPGs like Mage the Ascension, which I'm trying out. You can follow me on Twitter at QSellers or under the Mercenary Storyteller. And tonight I'm playing Eric Tristan, who I don't know. We'll see how it goes on how he's feeling about the whole almost dying situation. But he's very proud of the gun he made with Bonnie. You know, that was pretty dope. That worked out way better than he thought.
I did. All right, next up, Sir Monolith.
Yeah, so I'm at Sir Monolith. I'm not really in a lot of other games at the moment. Outside of the stuff that's on hiatus here on Ree's channel. But I'll be playing Oliver tonight, and can't wait to see what we get up to.
All right, next up, Kira.
Hi, I'm Kira858. You can follow me on Twitter at the Kira858, as well as our TTRPG channel, the Cookout TTRPG. But we've been on a bit of a hiatus, but we're definitely expecting to have a huge project coming out. Eye out on that. And for me, I'm currently playing Chiharu Samson. Try to work with their home, keep their home safe from these werewolves coming by. I think we done a good job. Minor scratches here and there. Fortunately, it didn't turn on flames like we were expecting. There was some fire around, but hey, win some, lose some.
Didn't turn into flames yet.
It's still standing.
Last but certainly not least, Carly.
Hi, this is Carly. You can find me on the Twitters at Carly Plays Games. And here today to play the moody and morose Bonnie Wu. And I also concur that bad things don't have to happen to the players. Just putting it out there.
Or the world of darkness for a reason, not the world of positive reinforcement. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yes,
So
there has to be darkness for there to be light.
This is the way.
we will see. We will see how much light is needed for you all today. But so to give everyone a bit of a recap on what happened in our wonderful last session, our group managed to buckle down and through to some very interesting uses of firearms, fire, and combat techniques, managed to repel an attack by werewolves, taking out I believe all of them actually, and managing to minimize their losses. They also managed to set Chiharu's family's house on fire.
This again.
But some people would argue that it was a fair trade. We'll see if other people agree with that.
We put it out.
But they did indeed put the flames out. But to rejoin our group,
As far as I remember.
it is. You all made decisions. You all made decisions, and they seem to have paid off for you so far. But as we are rejoining our group of mages, you all have been brought together into a small by werewolf standards meeting space. It is large enough to hold the four of you plus three other people, including Chiharu's immediate family. And as you all are sitting down, you see other people are rushing in and out. Some are carrying, some are carrying the garbs and the bandages used to treat people. Others are carrying spare wood and things for inspection to make sure it can be used. Others are attempting to recover items that are getting wet from the rain and making sure that those are not ruined. But with that, I leave the story to the four of you. Is there anything you all would like to say?
No, I think Eric would probably just be quiet for a little bit. There was a lot that went on. This is really the same night. I know it's been a couple months for everyone, but it's really the same night, right? So, no, I think he's just going to contemplate on poor decisions.
Strong silent type. I like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oliver's still recovering. He's a little
How are your legs, by the way, after the
oh, they're okay. I didn't land
30-foot
that
drop?
hard. I mean, it was a hard glide.
Like a flying squirrel? I'd be like, wait.
Exactly. Like a flying squirrel with like busted wings.
That was
I mean,
a paradox.
You just kind of, it's like broken wing flaps, right? It's like you're trying to fly a glider, but it's got a bunch of holes in the wings.
And how many shots did we get off with our rifle? We shot like twice, 3 times.
I think
It
twice
was
time.
3. It was 2 or 3.
So
Currently,
we definitely still have more ammo.
you
silver
do.
bullets.
Looking
Check
at
it.
the rifle itself, you are it is not looking super good. From what I understand about guns, is getting them wet in magical rain is just typically not a good thing. So you do think you need to do some maintenance on it if you wish to use it safely. But you do think you could continue to use it. Maybe make some modifications to avoid some negatives. But with some tender, loving care, you could use it again.
I will spend time with our child to make sure she's polished and cleaned and oiled.
All right.
Spend time on
So
the
well oiled.
field.
Sure. All right. While you all are reflecting and cleaning your weapon, Chiharu's mother will kind of look at each of you. I heard you all did some interesting things. I'm told that you all fought unorthodoxically, but valiantly.
And effectively.
Yes, it was certainly effective. If it was anything, it was effective.
Yes.
I do not share some of my contemporaries' views on modern weaponry, though I don't think the one you all used is commonplace. I will not ask you how you received it. I know that you mages are peculiar with your items. I will ask that you are careful not to allow other people to have it or versions of it in the future.
Well, it's surprising that those of your kind have such an aversion towards such weapons, since we got such weapons at
Yes, we will make sure no one else uses it.
There's something wrong with your throat.
I need a lozenge. Lozenger. No, I'm good.
Some of our brethren that are not as, we'll say, blessed with the natural tools to find are able and willing to use firearms, but some of our elders prefer the classical tools: sword, shield, spear. I've never cared much for the blood personally, but if it works, I cannot complain. Chiharu, I'm told that your martial arts skills were quite impressive. I find half of the story is difficult to believe, including you kicked a what is it? Krynos, that's how it's pronounced. A Krynos form in the face. Is that correct?
Indeed. saw them breaking through the gate. And I did not want them to go much further, so I approached with as much ferocity isn't the right term. Gusto? Not sure.
With a roundhouse kick to the face.
Yeah.
Can't confirm, by the way. I saw it through the scope of my rifles.
I
boy
believe
was
the sound
amazing.
was pow right in the kisser.
Pow. Right in the kisser.
Kisser.
Yes. But thank you. I was glad you were able to stop them when we could. It was my first time dealing with rhinos of that size. And then there was more. There was what, 5?
Yes, I imagine there are more of them around. They are like an infestation, but those worries will be for tomorrow.
What happened in the Umbra?
Someone had caused odd beings to appear, technological ones. I'm worried that some sort of corruption has occurred with the Weaver's children in the area. Unfortunately, it'll take us some time before we can properly investigate.
And it was affecting here? Was it affecting Asian?
Not quite. It appears that someone had fashioned a talon of considerable filth to draw them here. My guess is that they wish to draw most of us away to attack here for something. We will need to have some of the shaman speak with the other spirits nearby to see if there's more to it than that. But for now, we managed to deal with it. Your sister was quite excited at the opportunity.
I bet. And there's the first time there's a legitimate like chuckle underneath his voice, which is very uncommon.
Both of you are going to be quite the handful in your years, but now is an opportunity for happiness. You all did a good job. No, a great job. I don't know. No.
So, Tommy,
Yeah.
if I may ask, you suggest that they drew you away from your home to attack, and I do not mean to pry, but is there something here worth taking? Because the alternative is far more likely, and if so, requires an apology on our part.
There are reasons, of course. A cairn is a powerful place to be. And it is hard to fully understand what the dancers are thinking most of the time, if they are ever truly thinking. And I do not believe now would be a good time to worry about whose fault is what. I believe that at the moment, we are all on the same side.
I don't disagree. I'm suggesting the alternative is, well, recent events may conclude that they were after us, seeing as we are
It is
kind of here to take in our opinion, our property back, our literal home.
is possible, but I would recommend you not to repeat such things once you've left this room. We are a bit more understanding for the plights of the mages or the name changers, but other more traditional kin of ours may not be so. And at the moment, your reputations with us will be that you are valuable allies, but if the rumor got out that things may have been partially your fault. Well, I'm sure you can imagine how the truth can be twisted into unfortunate means. So for now, everyone will be proceeding as if it was a chaotic attack on our holdings, and you all were here to assist us.
By chance, who all is aware of our family and our dealings with that not common?
Repeat what you said. That you cut off for a second.
Oh, my apologies. Who all is aware of our family legacy in our among our kin? Is our interactions with the dancers not common suit?
Our conflict with the dancers are known by the Black Spirals. No, the Shadow Lords, excuse me. Those are very different groups of people. The Shadow Lords north of here, as well as the Silver Fangs down in... where are they? Canton, I think. I will need to recheck that, to be honest. They are very prone to referring to themselves as the true hearts of Ohio, and it's very annoying. But the relation between the mages and the Black Spirals are not as known. There are some who have claimed to encounter you all in the spirit wilds and found you to be useful and a bit misguided, but there are just as many that have claimed that you all are in service to the worm and seek to corrupt things just as badly as the spirals. Unfortunately, I can do little to change their opinions.
I ask because in case information somehow gotten out that it was partially our doing, the blame can be placed on me. If we recall, our family has always had complications. Our old dad wanting to address us, eliminate us due to us dealing some major damage in prior time. So if somehow that information leaked, placing it on my shoulders.
Your willingness to accept such a burden is honorable, but I'm afraid it would not matter much. People will, unfortunately, take whatever excuse they need to fulfill whatever ambitions they want. They would not be willing to just accept it as a part of your lineage with us. Though I imagine it may be useful to you, and if you need it for whatever reason, you may use it as you see fit. I suppose that would go for all of you. Unfortunately, you all are not Guru, so I cannot endorse a change of your rank, but I can guarantee that people will know of your service to us today. You all were very effective, and I am told that if it weren't for your actions, that there would have been far more casualties. And for that, I am very thankful. And the four of you may add status 1 Garu to your character sheets, except for Chiharu, who can add status 2.
Yay! That would be under backgrounds?
Yes, it would be a background.
Thank you. I was like looking for it in skills.
You would put it in as a background. It does, for people who are familiar with Vampire the Masquerade, it is roughly the same background. It helps you with a few people as they know a little bit more about you.
Son, by chance, who are the other? In character, Chihara would know the term. Out of character, I'm blanking. What is the term? Is it tribes, right? It's tribes? Or?
Yes.
Okay. Who are the other tribes and location besides us? You said the Shadow Lords is one?
Yes, the Shadow Lords are in the, I believe it's referred to as the Polish sections of the city. Unfortunately, I don't know who leads them. There are Silver Fangs north of us, and then the Glasswalkers are nearby. I've never been able to figure out exactly where their cairn is. It is believed it is closer to downtown, near some sort of tech startup or something. But
Oh.
it is all that I can tell you. They haven't been in contact with the rest of us for a little while now.
How could they have a Karen's by surrounded by so much city? So much
That
asking.
is a question you'll have to ask them. Unfortunately, they have a connection with the more technological spirits, but I am unable to find out more about that. Most of the natural spirits have long since left the central city, and I do not traffic in that area myself. The smells are unpleasant.
This is honor. I do wish I could enjoy that, but at least just so I see my sister's face. It would be nice to be same area. Life is
There are many things that we would have preferred, but life has its ways of creating chaos where we wish to see order. As for the rest of you, you all are not kin, that is true. But should you find yourselves in need of assistance or even a place to lay your heads, you may return here. As long as you agree not to set any more fires.
I can promise to try to do my best.
I suppose that is all that we can ever ask for. Right, well, there are still many repairs that will need my attention. If you all are in need of anything, please let us know. You all are free to still stay in your quarters. From what I'm told, those buildings were left mostly unharmed. And if you are in need of food, I imagine that there's something that can be thrown together. Honey, your parents asked for me to let you know that they will be by to speak with you in the mansion. They said that you'd know what that would mean, but I'm afraid that I am not sure, and I did not ask.
Someone's got money.
Say that for me one more time, Carly.
She lets out a heavy sigh and says, "If I must."
I mean, the mountain
If you will,
sounds pretty good. I'm just saying.
if you will excuse me, and she does give a slight bow, and she will leave the room.
pass on before you go. And he will slowly make his way up to her. Says, "Is there a bath of sorts, a place that can heal wounds? I could damage that's taken. There's other methods that could be used. Fortunately, I do not have the healing abilities that our fellow has.
I will have someone bring some of our talons by. They should be enough to take care of any of your more immediate wounds. Just give us a moment to ensure that the ones who are in most need are taken care of.
Of course." Gato bows very low and returns back.
Right? And then it's just the four of you.
So mansion. Do tell. Obviously, looking at Bonnie.
You may come with if you want.
Not that I don't appreciate the digs here, but I mean, I would much rather stay at a mansion. I didn't know that was an option. But no, Charu, this is great. It's great. Yeah. But mansion. Like, we're gonna,
No offense, enjoy your. So I will be honest, I wasn't aware of this match.
That's two of us.
I'm sorry. Are you still cutting out for other people?
Hard, yeah, he
Oh,
is.
really?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's bad.
Yes, you
Okay,
may need to adjust your.
I thought it
Okay.
was just me.
All right, give me
You're
one
also very
second.
quiet, which is why I recommended you up your gain.
Gotcha. Let me take a look at my settings.
I was
But I
just
believe
typing
he
you a message for
said
that.
he was also not aware you had a mansion.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, my family does. My family upon occasion are servants of capitalism. Well, shall we?
I mean, if you'd prefer to go alone, I do not wish to intrude. I have things to take care of too. Like, so busy. So busy.
Like what?
Well, I have to learn stuff, okay, about things to help me better myself. And I don't know what really that entails yet, but I'm going to figure it out. Or I'm going to hope the storyteller tells me what it is. I need to go on a walkabout. I don't know what to wear. I don't know what I'm going to be doing. But I feel like this is the time to do it.
May you have a somber walkabout full,
Thank you.
full of fog and yearning.
Usually, yeah. But you have fun too at your mansion. Dreary. What a downer.
Okay, so it appears that Eric is going to have a bit of a walk.
You said you had something planned. I don't know what that meant though. Do I carve out time to do it?
This is far better than anything that I would have created on my own. So this is perfect. For Bonnie, Oliver, and Jaharu, what are you doing?
Kate, how does it sound now? Does it sound better? Worse?
Yeah,
Can you hear
okay
me?
now.
Okay.
So far, so good.
All right. I forgot if gate, am I supposed to increase the gate or supposed to lower the gate? So just like I turn up the input just to be on the safe side.
Depends on what you're using.
Yes. But yeah, sorry. Yeah, I guess you all go ahead. I would head out to go see my sisters. But just give me a few seconds while making sure I got this just right audio setting. That's what I'm doing.
Still cutting out a little bit, but you definitely sound better.
Okay.
Okay.
So in my gate, I have 4 options, by the way. That's why I was asking. I wasn't sure if you had just a 1 slider or a...
I could do both. But I had a West slider for now.
Do you have Go XLR?
Okay.
I do too. Okay, yeah. Look at your threshold. That's probably what you're looking for.
Yes.
All right. In that case, Bonnie and Oliver, what about you two?
Well, I suppose I shall go see my parents. What are you planning on doing?
Is this still the same night? I lost track of time.
Yes, it is still the same night.
Still the same night. Yeah. Okay. Well, then Oliver is going to rest because Oliver is a little bit taxed.
You might need some stitches or a cast or something.
I mean, it's just a flesh wound. It's just a flesh wound. But Oliver wants to rest and maybe do some reading. And I think, did we establish that that light you need like Prime 4 to create permanent objects, right? Like a permanent enchantments. Okay.
Yes.
So he's not too worried about that, but he wants to do some more studying because he would like to learn more about that and what it entails. I'm not sure if he knows exactly that he need what he needs, kind of generally speaking, like as far as his arete is concerned, since it's an out of game concept.
Okay.
I'm assuming he'd probably need to learn a little bit more about that.
Okay. All right. So you all divide up and be it to take care of your information. We will start with Oliver because Oliver, your research is the easiest of those things to do. So you are trying to learn about the creation of magical objects. So roll me a combination of your intelligence and either investigation or research. And if you have any specialties relating to learning, they will apply.
Okay. All right. Where's my roller?
I'm going to say your difficulty is going to get boosted to 7 because you're not in optimal condition, so it's a little harder to calm down.
That's fair. Oh. Oh, and then 7. And let's see what Roll20 has for us. No. Why does it say 1 dice pool of 1?
It shows.
I mean, it shows a bunch of dice.
Oh, it means die pool 1. It means you use the first dice pool roll.
Gotcha. Never mind. Makes sense. But no success.
So, all right. Well, with 0 successes, you don't pull up anything that you did not already know. You do know that your current understanding of the Sphere of Prime is currently insufficient to make a truly permanent magical object. You do know that there are some people who have been able to make legendary items, and you know that you would have to understand the thing that you are putting into an item. So if you wish to put your understanding of life into an object, you could, but you would have to understand the effect that you would want to put into the item.
Yeah. And he's probably sloughing it off as like, well, I don't really have I don't really have full access to my library resources here. So, worth a shot to poke around. It has been a night.
All right. Was there anything else you wanted to know?
What about could I roll to learn more about what's it called? Raising your arete. The little vision quest you have to go on.
Sure. Roll just roll an intelligence roll.
Okay.
This is just to see if you recall what you have been taught in your training in Hermeticism.
All
right. Difficulty 6.
Yeah. Boop. Set roll. No. Got 1 success.
You know that the seeking is a path towards understanding and enlightenment. It is usually a way for your avatar to teach you a lesson of some sort. Exactly what the lesson will be is unique to each individual. There have been attempts to understand what lessons will occur at what time and for what reason, although those attempts have so far been a bit of a mixed bag. The Hermetics, as far as you know, your teachers have not been unable to tell you any surefire way to know what to expect until after you've already undergone it. And they become more difficult the further you get. And it is theorized that at some point you would reach a truly supreme understanding and would go beyond what this world has, but you don't fully know what that would entail. There's no consensus on what that would mean.
Kind of thing. That's kind of what it sounds like from a if he's thinking of it from like knowledge about just general knowledge regarding like religious practices and stuff. Sounds like someone seeking enlightenment.
All right.
That's cool.
All right. And if that is all, our camera is going to follow Jaharu. who is currently in search for his sister. So at the moment, you find that the compound itself has kind of fallen into both a calm chaos. People are either taking care of each other, going around and taking care of the wounded, or cleaning up things, beginning to repatch areas where the werewolves have either broken down portions of the walls or burned some of the leaves away and are trying to clean that up. Whereas others have begun a patrol. You see that the energy for the moment seems to be very lively. Everyone seems to be not quite excited, but to be very kind of energetic. You get the feeling just as you walk around, people are looking for ways to put the excitement or the energy that they have to good use. And during that is where you come across your sister, who is currently sitting atop a tree. You see that she is looking out kind of just over the forest. You see that there is currently what looks to be like a small, about maybe 6-inch long blade that is kind of strapped to her shoulder along the side there. And you recognize it as you know it is a fetish of some sort, but you know that when she received it, she would not tell you much about it. Though you know that she is quite proud of it. And you can see that it has been either freshly cleaned or that she has managed to avoid getting any kind of dirt or any blood or anything like that on it. And as you approach, you catch just very quickly her body language kind of stiffen and then relax. But she doesn't turn to look at you.
Chiharu, you say she is sitting on a branch, correct?
Yes.
Chiharu is going to. Why not? Ninja flip up the tree and then hop onto the on the branch next to her.
Why do you all tempt me with dice rolls? But I will allow this without a dice roll. I will be kind.
Thank you.
So you are able to join her up on the tree branch without too much effort, and she does kind of move over to make sure that you are able to get there. And as you approach, she doesn't look at you. She's still kind of keeping her gaze forward. I've heard you were doing decently while I was gone.
A work in progress. Perhaps.
Well, it's good that you're still working. You haven't gone soft on me.
Never. So about you. That blade looks freshly clean.
I had someone take care of it for me once we came back.
So I'm presuming you had also had a bit of fun.
There was a lot to take care of. Of course, I did my part.
Want to talk about it?
I am a bit worried. The spirits were wrong, even by the Weaver standards.
In what way?
They seemed old. I'm not exactly an expert on the Weaver, but they seemed advanced but old. They weren't made out of any metal I'd ever seen, that's for sure. It was stronger than anything I'd expect, but they were covered in runes I'd never seen before.
Does that description ring a bell by chance? Anything I may have heard of in the past?
Nothing based on her description of it. With more details, you may be able to gain some more information, but her description is generic enough that it could be anything. She could have just been a particularly odd spirit, or it could be something different.
Could you describe what they look like? What these runes look like? Perhaps I can investigate.
You watch as she holds out her hand, and you see the finger, her ring finger, shifts into that of this very long and almost twice as thick furry claw. And she begins to kind of carve out into the tree an image. And as you look at it, for just a moment, there's this kind of what can only be described as a itching in your mind. As it feels familiar, but as you look at it, you can't place it. You don't feel like you've seen it before, but you can't get this feeling that it's familiar to you.
Odd. It's like an itch you can't scratch. Right in the lower back section. I felt like I've seen this before, but I can't tell where.
It was weird.
Well, I have a few people I can attempt to reach out to. See if we can get more information on this.
Let's be careful. Name changers are weird.
What is it weird to you?
Swords?
Yeah, I can see. You still haven't told me much about it, you know.
If you can become friends with a similar enough spirit, perhaps I will.
Oh, she does it count?
Oh, she's weird. In many ways.
Once again, weird. I'm glad you're doing okay.
I'm glad you're well. I don't know much about your companions or friends, but they seem interesting. The darker clothed one seems to be either friends with ravens or really made a raven spirit angry, and I'm not sure which one.
You mean Eric? Or our cousin?
No, the one obsessed with ghosts. I'm told she went to the cemetery earlier.
Yes. Well,
One of our kinfolk kept talking about some sort of dance that she reminded her of. It didn't really make any sense to me, but apparently there's like a TV show or something.
I'll be honest, I have no idea. I learn something new about her every day.
Just be careful. They all seem nice enough, but odd, weird.
Yes, that's the first weird that I would agree upon out of the ones you described. But it makes things interesting in their own special way.
I'm told that they're responsible for the fire that happened.
Yes. It was a byproduct of their tactics to stop the werewolves. We were able to stop the fire eventually. No harm was done. But just like how we have our own methods, I don't guys them are there.
Fair enough.
Now I know you have a new rank now. When is the celebration?
In a few days, I am going to be going to speak with a spirit about learning a new gift. I'm told my mother's going to let me take an entire week to take care of it. So you're going to have to work a bit harder if you want to keep up.
I'll get there. I'll get there.
I look forward to seeing what you manage to come up with. Especially since I keep hearing odd stories about you kicking a wolf in the face.
It was a unique reaction. I did not. I'll be honest. I did not expect doing that immediately. That was more a natural reaction to what was approaching,
Mm-hmm.
but it felt good. They destroyed our home, or attempted to anyway.
Well, can't blame you for that, I suppose. Just don't get yourself in any trouble.
You see their eyes, his eyes start to dart towards the location of where perhaps his fellow Cabal members are. He says, cannot make any promises, but I'll try.
Be careful. Don't go fighting things you can't take care of. If you have any problems, you can come back and tell me.
I will. And you see him kind of place his head on the side of her, on her shoulder for a bit.
Right. And as these two have a moment, our camera is going to shift. And we are going to find ourselves following Bonnie. Bonnie, where are you headed?
Bonnie's headed to her room.
Okay. You find that this section of the grounds is pretty quiet. Most people have either left to go and take care of each other, or over on this side are keeping quiet and kind of just watching out over the forest. So you do find yourself with alone time, should you want it.
Oh, by the way, which one of us got custody of the flamethrower gun for the moment?
I will leave that up to you all to have decided amongst yourselves.
These are the important questions. I mean, you could take it with you if you wanna show your parents.
All right, I will take it with me to my room.
There you go.
Okay.
She will using her knowledge of firearms begin to clean it. She sits cross-legged on her bed, begins to clean the gun / flamethrower abomination, and as she does so, this is a very relaxing time. You just make sure all the parts are oiled, well dried, and eventually she has relaxed enough to let herself drift off to sleep.
Okay. Roll me your perception and domain. Roll your dice pool for me at difficulty 5. See if anyone can get more than one success tonight.
How do you roll? How do you roll an attribute and a background?
Just if it doesn't give you the option, just roll perception and then add 2 dice. It's when it asks you to, when it prompts you for any additional things.
Yeah, because there's no
It doesn't give you the ability to do that. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. The sheet cannot do it all, I suppose.
I am getting lost here.
It's been a while. All right.
Yeah, it's just I'm trying to Let me see. Extra ability. Let's see.
Okay, well, that is good enough, actually. Because you have, yes, with 4 successes, that is more than enough. So, as you let your mind drift, it only takes you a moment before you are opening your eyes inside of a mental landscape. Bonnie, would you like to tell us what your domain looks like?
Yes. So all around, at least at first, as far as the eye can see, is sand and fog. It's cloudy all around. It's a natural darkness with no light. But as you look around, the air seems to clear, and there is a leafless tree in the middle of a clearing. It's large with many branches, some intertwined. And on top of this tree is a mansion, completely black and extravagant. Bonnie, still holding her child, sighs and trudges towards the tree and the house on top of it.
As you approach, you see the tree itself begin to kind of move and sway to empty and to kind of make your path easier. Before long, you find yourself standing at the foot of your home, of this mansion you've created for yourself. Standing not quite on the porch, but just on those kind of bottom sets of stairs are 2 people. Your parents are both waiting for you. They both seem to be wearing kind of a matching dark black outfits. One of us wearing kind of a longer dress that seems to almost look kind of like a wedding dress, but in its blackness, it almost looks more like kind of a funeral outfit. Whereas the other is wearing more of a 2-piece suit with a tie that kind of button that folds in below you in front of the jacket. And you aren't sure if either of them are dressed like that or if they are projecting a particular image to kind of match the world around you.
Bonnie herself is wearing a black, of course, nightgown of lace. Other mother, I'm sure you're disgustingly happy to know that I have lived to survive another day.
I wouldn't put it quite like that. It is good that you and your friends succeeded. It is, we'll say, a unique opportunity for you and your friends to have triumphed like this. Difficulties are often what forges a mage into steel, or I suppose wonderful things. The metaphor kind of breaks down a bit, actually.
I've always wanted a steel back brace. Such a pity you didn't get me one for my 17th birthday.
Perhaps next time.
If there is next time.
There's always an opportunity. There's always the next time.
If I live to survive another day.
We will have to look forward to it. It is interesting that this place doesn't seem to change.
Is it supposed to change?
Everything changes with time, opportunity.
Oh. It's supposed to be a reflection of my perfect place. I suppose it hasn't changed because I'm happy with it being the way it is.
I'm glad to hear you're happy. That does work for me.
Relatively speaking.
Of course. What do you intend to do with this place?
What do you do with your place?
A great many things. There are quite a few fun things you can do with a place like this. There are some that are less pleasant. Opportunities to grow and to learn, to travel to other places. Our domain is anything you'd want it to be. With time and effort.
You had me add in pleasant. I'd like to know more.
With proper understanding, these worlds make for opportunities to speak with other people, both those who want to be here and those who do not.
I suppose this is how you can speak to me in my own space.
Of course. Of course, with time, you will learn to prevent the entrance of people you do not want to be here. Assuming that is something you desire to do. Many people create these spaces and never think twice about them.
Well, I've spent practically my entire childhood building this space. I've also spent many a nights trying to imagine a padlock that would keep the two of you out, but as you can see, it has remained steadfastly ineffective.
You still have quite a bit to learn before you are able to affect either of us, but perhaps it'll be a motivator for you.
Why have you called me here?
We are going to be leaving for a bit of time. There appears to be a disturbance, and we are the ranking magi in this area. We're told that the spirits are behaving oddly. We are going to be traveling deeper into the Umbra to look into it.
In what way?
Spirits that should not be here are here. There was a hermetic who explained this, and they seem to enjoy talking in large words for some reason. But it appears that someone is calling spirits from the High Umbra from some ancient society down here for some reason. And they can't be bothered to come here and look at it for themselves, so their mother and I will be looking into it.
Interesting. Is there anything I can assist with?
Not at the moment. Though I'm told you all were quite effective tonight.
Yes. She lifts up the flamethrower slash gun hybrid.
I
We were
would not
very
have taken you for fire. I would have guessed you'd prefer cold. I will.
unfortunately they did not have an ice thrower in their armory. You must ask your cousin to rectify that.
I will let her know.
Well, I suppose it's just as good for the both of you to head on to your other responsibilities. This place is not becoming of you.
There's a sort of charm to it.
Mm.
Darkness has its own beauty in moderation.
No, I mean in your I mean in your old family home. All of this athleticism and preppiness does not become of you.
I
Much
suppose.
prefer you in your natural forms.
Well, I suppose that is fair. We all have our preferences. But I did want to warn you to be careful.
Well, you have your own
You
preferences as well. I don't see why you should hide yourself for those who may not agree with it.
It is sometimes better to appear as people will need. And in other people's homes, we have to do what we have to. I believe the saying is, when in Rome, do as the Romans. Which is very funny when you think about the fact that the Romans did not respect other people's customs in the slightest.
Well, as you've taught me, the host must be accommodating.
That is also true.
If they are not accommodating of who you are, I just wonder why you decided to go.
I wanted to check in on you, of course. Being uncomfortable for a short time is hardly a problem.
I see you do not trust me.
I trust you to do as you please. I do not trust you to do good necessarily.
Well, I am affronted that you would think that I would attempt to do good. I don't know how to respond to that.
In time, you will. However,
Now you
we
just
will have.
speaking fluff, mother. I abhor fluff.
I imagine the things that you abhor would fill a rather large tome.
Yes. That is why I'm writing a novel.
Oh, I will have to read it.
When it gets published.
Well, I will have to take a look at it in the future. Take care of yourself. Your friends are well meaning, but I worry that they haven't seen quite enough yet.
Yes. They mean a great bit too well, don't they?
I suppose, in a way. We will speak with you as soon as we return, but it may be a while. These trips are rather perilous. Perhaps one day you will be able to join us.
Well, I shall see you. I shall see you then next time, other mother. May your path be perilous and complicated.
Goodbye. And you see, for a moment, they kind of their forms kind of waver before the darkness almost becomes tangible. And you see it begins to spread almost like a liquid, except for it seems to kind of grow around them. And a moment later, you are alone.
Bunny goes. Bunny turns, walks into the tree house slash mansion. This is her. This is her space. This is her mind palace. So she walks in as if she owns the place, which she does. And she goes straight to her room and starts typing on her typewriter.
All right. And as Bonnie settles in to continue their work, our camera is going to pull back, and we find ourselves joining Mr. Tristan. Where are you going for your walk tonight?
Don't know. I knew you were gonna ask that shit. I had no idea. I mean, I'm in Cleveland. Where would I go? I don't know. This this isn't my home.
As much fun as I find this entire moment, I will say you don't go too far from the grounds. You are able to find kind of a bit of a forest path, we'll say. And as you walking, are you doing anything in particular?
I'm kind of missing my giant gun right now. I wanna name it Phineas. That's what I'm gonna do. So I'm thinking of names for my gun, for our gun. Excuse me, for our gun.
Right. As you are walking along, your mind wandering back towards your gun, potential changes, potential names. It takes you a moment before your brain realizes it. You feel stone instead of grass beneath your feet. And as your mind pulls back, you realize instead of the night sky that you were expecting, you find yourself standing under a sweltering sun. You feel hot, an arid heat. As you look around, you begin to pick up voices. You hear people, some of them seem to be maybe selling something. You recognize that cadence of someone who's speaking over a crowd and trying to draw the attentions of people. And as you look around, you find yourself standing in a city that you don't recognize. People are standing wearing kind of long robes of what looks to be like a rough material, maybe cotton, you aren't sure. And as you're moving, you see a person you've seen only a couple of times before this. Let me make sure I get this description right. One second. You see a man kind of in dark leathers. They have a curved sword on their hip. Very dark black skin with long hair that's kind of tied up just below the nape of the neck. And as you see him, he turns toward you, and you see a symbol on his chest, but you don't recognize the emblem. He looks at you. Greetings, Eric. It has been quite a while since we have last seen each other.
I'm just gonna take a stab here. Is this Gina?
It is.
I can't actually recall the last time I saw you. Sometimes you come and I feel like I just saw you yesterday, and other times I feel like you're a dream.
In some ways, I am a little more than a dream. Now, anyway. But I suppose that isn't why we are together. It is time for your next test to take place. Continuing the conditions behind the first one, I believe I should explain your avatar. I believe that is what you will call it in the current age, is going to test you. Officially, I am not allowed to intervene. Oh, there are some things that I can do, as you can see. Should you fail the test, you will be sent back, mostly safely. Hopefully.
You're not instilling a lot of confidence there, Gina. But
It's my job to make sure you are strong enough to defend the world. Comfort does not come with that, unfortunately.
I know it's been a long time, but I'll remind you, I have no interest in saving the world.
I had no interest in dying, yet we find ourselves here. You will find that fate or the universe or whatever you believe in does not care too much for our plans.
I'm aware this is a price that I need to pay to achieve my goals. And as I have said before, I'm willing to pay any price. So let's be done with it.
I have found so many people who say they are willing to pay whatever price they need. You will find that the universe has a way of finding the things you least want to pay. But I suppose our philosophical disagreements will have to wait. And you see as he finishes behind him a woman who is dressed in similar clothes as the others. So hers seem to be a bit more higher quality. The material
not modern
seems
clothes,
to be,
right?
No.
Okay, thank God. Okay. I thought you were going somewhere else with it. I was like, okay.
No. But she seems to come running down a street, and you can tell that there are people kind of following her. She kind of attempts to disappear into a crowd. Another group wearing similar armor to Gina, except for theirs seems to be kind of silver in color, seem to be chasing after her.
And
I believe that is your cue.
Just when I think my life is starting to find some semblance of hope, you come back and remind me what I'm fighting for. Thank you for that. And I'm just going to run off.
All right. As you are running, you begin to notice a few different things. The first of which is as you begin to pass the people, their faces seem to lose focus to you. It's almost like looking at a blurry image. And as you kind of move through the crowds, they seem to almost be preventing you from going forward. How do you want to proceed?
Are they physically getting in my way?
If you've ever tried to move through like a crowd of people, it's almost as if they are moving to make the point from where you are to the point where you're going as long as possible.
I would. How do we get willpower back? I
Sleeping
special.
and performing your demeanor and nature.
Shit.
Mhm.
I think I would like to attempt to control their movement, not really specifically like controlling like how they move, but the probability that they're going to step in a different direction than the one that's in front of me, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right. Roll me your art at difficulty 5.
One success.
All right. You begin to reach forward for probability to manipulate the essence of possibility. And as you reach for it, nothing happens. It's almost as if that thing, that part of creation that you've grown accustomed to, simply isn't there.
Man. Well, if that doesn't work, perhaps chaos works. No, that sounds like a terrible idea too. What describe to me where I am? Am I in like 12th century, or like what's in front
If
of me?
you
Is there
have
sidewalks?
seen, no, if you have seen any of the kind of fantasy TV that takes place in like a unknown Middle Eastern
That's what I
country,
thought. Yep.
it's kind of like that.
Okay, and then I'm chasing this woman who's running through the crowd. How would I get to her? This sounds like a really dumb idea, but I can't think of anything else. I'm going to pull out my gun and fire off a couple of rounds in the air and see if I can get people to run away from me.
You pull out your gun, and it does seem to be there, and you fire, and you see as the sound resonates through, people begin to freeze, and as you see them, they stop moving. It's almost as if someone has pressed pause on a movie. It's almost like their facial features, everything about them stops completely.
Are they completely like frozen?
Looks like it.
Just to be clear, not like they're like shocked and panicked, but like
No, it's
frozen.
almost as if they have all become mannequins.
Do I still spot the woman I'm chasing?
Yes, you can see that she is still moving, as well as the 2 people that were following her, but the crowd has stopped.
Can I assume it's going to be easier to run through the crowd now that they're not moving in front of me?
It would be awfully difficult to be stopped by people who aren't moving.
I'm gonna keep looking at them.
All right. You chase after her, and as you attempt to kind of move around people, you get closer, and as you are approaching, just before you would be close enough to reach out and grab one of the 2 men, you see them both pull out these curved steel swords, and the woman, who has this kind of what looks to be like a small dagger-like blade in her hand, and they begin to attack. Is there anything you'd like to do?
I'm holding a gun. Yes, there's absolutely something I'd like to do. I'd like to shoot, double tap one in the chest.
All right. As you pull out your gun, you fire again, and you see the bullet slam into this person. But you feel agony spread from the center of your chest. And just as the pain begins to become too much and you feel yourself losing consciousness, you find yourself standing in front of Gina again. That was quicker than I was expecting.
Like quicker good? Like the fastest you've seen anyone ever complete that task? Or is this bad? This is probably bad, isn't it?
You failed. Though it was not as bad as it could have been. You are still here. No avatar is more merciful than in my time, I suppose.
Well, then I'd like to go again.
Have you learned anything from your first attempt, or are you just throwing yourself headlong?
100% throw myself headlong. I learned absolutely nothing from the last encounter.
This is
Do I
meant to
know-
teach you something.
Well, the lesson is lost.
Reflect on what happened, or else you will simply be stuck here. Or die. Which I imagine if you're going to keep shooting yourself won't be very fun.
Do I recognize this woman?
No.
Why am I chasing her?
Not my decision to chase her. That was yours. Standing there, you hear the call out, and it begins to happen again. You see her come running past, and a short while later, two people begin to follow her.
Are they running?
They are not running, but they're walking quickly, is what I would say. She's moving faster than them, but they are definitely chasing after her.
Can I see any way to get in front of them? Perhaps a shortcut, back alley,
You see there,
less
you
crowded.
do see there are pathways in between buildings and stuff that you could attempt. You can't see if any of them will immediately take you to where she is, but you can see that based on the how the city is kind of built up, there are pathways you can take to try.
Um,
You will die if you do not act.
I'd like to do a twofer. I'm going to try time instead. And actually, I could do a combination. What am I thinking of? I would like to, instead of try to affect everyone, I would like to control her probability that our paths will cross. And I would like to see if I can use my sight to glean into the future.
Okay. Romiarte, so you're trying to do two separate magical effects at the same time. I'm going to boost it to 7 total.
That's even worse. Okay. I'm going to use my last willpower and get 1 success.
Sure.
It's going to be 2 successes.
Okay. You reach out to the magic, and it does respond this time. And you see, as you attempt to gaze into the future, you see her die. Over and over again.
Do I see where she dies?
Sometimes it's running through the center of the street where she was before. Other times you've seen that you've managed to help her get to a particular alley before she's caught. You've seen it play out a couple of times, and you get further in some, and she seems to die each time.
Does she look to be in distress?
Yes.
Is there any possible future where I can intervene before she dies? Or no matter what, regardless of my intervention, what you're saying, she dies?
What you've seen, she will die no matter what. You haven't had time to see every possible future, but from what you've seen, she seems to die no matter what you do.
I would like to 100% phone a friend. No matter what she dies, doesn't matter if I get her or not. I can't kill the people chasing her.
You could ask Gina if you'd like.
I kind of feel like he's the one giving the test. Isn't that like going to the teacher asking for the answer on the test?
You know that your avatar and Gina aren't exactly the same. Just that.
Thank you. I was going to ask you on that.
Gina
My interpretation, my avatar is Gina. So you said at my avatar, I didn't know what that meant.
No, Gina and your avatar are separate beings, and you know that the person responsible for this test is your avatar, and Gina, although is here, from what he's told you in the past, there are rules regarding what he's allowed to do.
Who's my avatar?
You know, he's not allowed to be there. You don't know the name of your avatar. You haven't seen your avatar yet.
Interesting. Okay. I'm pretty sure my avatar background I copied and pasted from you. And it literally says, your avatar is Gina.
I will change that later.
That's why I was confused.
It's complicated. How it works is
What does your avatar look like? Your avatar is Gina.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Gina's not my avatar.
Elaborate.
I have a different avatar.
More. Yes, Gina has told you previously that his being here is not supposed to have happened, and that although he is here and talk to him, he is not the same thing as your avatar. There is a difference. He's not explained to you what that difference is just yet, but it's not exactly the same.
Do I know anything of my avatar?
No.
Okay. So I'll kind of snap out of it a second, almost like I've kind of played through a couple of scenarios, not quite Doctor Strange style, but at least a few. And I see the ultimate ending to the story. So I choose not to pursue. And instead, I will ask Gina directly, what's the purpose of me watching someone die over and over again? I find no logic in this. I've seen death before, so the death cannot be the lesson. I've seen worth deaths than this.
Death is not your lesson, and I am unable to tell you what your lesson is, or else I would have told you already. I can tell you that your attempts to change things directly do not work, and there is a reason for that. And you can see visibly as he tried to get through that last sentence, his muscles around his neck began to tense, almost as if he was resisting something.
Like resisting telling me the truth or resisting something that's being done to him?
It seemed, based on
like,
how
is he
was
holding
talking,
something back? Or
you get the feeling that there was something almost physically preventing him from saying something.
yeah. I have to believe that I can change the course of actions that are laid out before me. As you mentioned, there's no destiny. We make our own luck and we forge our own paths. And I don't think this is a game I want to play.
You wish to give up?
just gonna phone a friend.
I'll tell you what, I will give you some time to think about it, because we are going to go take our break for the evening. So we will be back in, we'll say 15 minutes. Give our players here an opportunity to reflect on everything. Then we'll see what they come up with. So we will be back in about 15 minutes.
Okay.
Welcome back to our Mage the Ascension campaign, or as we're now calling it, psychological trauma. I am your
Emotional
storyteller.
damage.
Emotional
damage.
But we are just going to dive right back in as Eric is forced to come to a decision. As you are back, you are with Gina, and you can see the world it's almost like the world is being reset, as if the people are being moved back into position. And Gina looks around, and you will have to decide what you're going to do.
I mentioned I've seen this tale before, but much worse. Playing over and over and over again. But ultimately, what's done is done, and what's going to happen will happen.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, I'm done playing this game. And I'm not playing against you. This is a game I play with myself, and it's time to walk away.
As you make your decision, you see, just for a moment, a look passes across Gina's face. You aren't sure if it's irritation, disappointment. Before you can think about it too much, it's gone. And you see the faces around you begin to kind of go, not blank, but it's almost as if someone brushes over them. They almost become completely still and expressionless. And you see now the woman begins to walk towards you. And as she does, the clothes she's wearing begin to morph and fade until you see a figure in a long black robe, a cloak covering their facial features, leaving what looks to be like two black dots where the eyes would be. The figure gets about 5 feet away from you and begins to speak in a way that makes your soul feel cold. I suppose congratulations are in order. You came to an answer. I imagine something your predecessor would feel something about. And you see Kina and this figure look at each other for a moment. But that isn't important. I wish you luck. And he raises his hand, and you see the world around you begin to fall apart, almost as if the pieces to a puzzle are being removed from the board, and you see yawning darkness begin to appear below you and in the sky above you. And you see this figure and Kina step toward one another, and they begin to speak, but the language they're speaking is one you've never heard before. Before you can question it, the scene is gone. And you find yourself standing in front of a tall, looks to be like maybe an oak tree. Everything looks normal. And you may add RT3 to your character sheet and spend your experience points.
Now I don't want it. Eric will he's taken the lesson and he understands that was congratulated for giving an answer. He would respectfully disagree that it was the right one, but nevertheless, the lesson was taught and something was learned. And he'll drop to his knees, probably take a kind of a cross his legs and sit down, and he's going to think back to Jessica as a tear rolls down his face, and he'll sit there and tell he's can't sit there anymore.
And with that, our mages have spent some time by themselves. And you all will eventually be brought back together as a young member of the Cairn will come to each of you and ask you to come closer. They will explain to you that they are bringing people in just in case there are some other hidden threats in the forest. And you find yourselves together in your, we'll call it a dormitory. Are there any conversations you all wish to have before this night ends?
You look upset, Eric.
At this moment in time, I am very upset.
I suppose your walk in the woods had gone. Your walk in the woods was fruitful. Rotten fruit, though it may be.
I was expecting more.
What did you get?
It feels like nothing. And I paid a heavy price for it.
What was the price?
My past. Something I swore I would never let go of.
Did you perhaps need to let go of your past to have a future?
I think whenever someone lets go of their past or doesn't, they will have a future. Mine may just be different now and not the future that I want. But only time will tell.
Then why did you let it go?
I'll let you know when I have an answer to that. What's the time of day right now, Ree?
Right now, you all are nearing about, we'll say, 12:30 at night. So around half past midnight.
If it's all the same to you, I think I'm going to take my leave for the evening. I'll catch up with you guys in the morning.
Sleep well.
I will hand Eric our child.
Phineas.
Yes.
The one constant truth.
And I walk away and I say, I have spoken.
Follow him. I will follow him.
What?
Excuse me, Phineas.
It's Phineas now. It's Phineas. It's a good name.
I will allow only a middle name.
First name Phineas, last name. All right.
Second middle name.
Please suggest another name for the first name.
I was thinking Augustus.
And whose last name should he take?
Mine, of course.
Augustus Phineas Wu. It's a good name. It's a good name.
You may choose the first. You may also choose the first middle name. I can make concessions.
I mean, I would say a hyphenated last name, or a second name, Augustus Phineas Tristan Wu.
Ooh, Tristan.
Done. May I go to bed now?
Yes, may your dreams be nightmares.
I'm sure they will be, as they are every night. Good night.
Ah, wonderful.
It's a great wedding dress on you, by the way. And I'll shut the door.
Slowly.
As soon as I walk 10 feet away, it just turns into a wedding dress.
Slowly. As he turns away, he can see her slowly raise a middle finger.
Anything else you all wish to do before the night ends?
Oh, the talons was any of them given?
Yes, you all would have received basically a set of bandages that Jahara, you would realize, have temporarily have the spirit of healing bound into them. That will once used will heal you. We'll say 2 levels of any damage. That'll be nice.
Okay,
so you all can use them.
You said 2?
2. And that's before if you have any merits or anything that would increase how much you heal or something like that. So you would still add those.
All right. So after applying the bandages, realizing there are still a few aches and pains, they're going to cross their legs, kind of the key around them, and they're going to essentially heal themselves. Bring them back to them.
Okay. I believe you have aggravated wounds or lethal wounds.
No, would it be lethal? Because lethal would have turned into bashing. So would it have to be aggravated?
Okay. All right, then it is a vulgar to heal those. Well, I mean, the way you're doing it is healing is vulgar anyway. So it's gonna be vulgar magic. So it's gonna be difficulty 7.
All right. And okay, 2 successes.
All right, I'll say they'll take care of both of those levels of damage, but you will gain it out of paradox.
All right. They're going to ask Hoshi to come by. Of course, because the paradox is building up a little bit. So they're going to head over to Hoshi and says, hate to ask this of you, but things has been a bit difficult since our last encounter dealing with the dancers. Would you mind helping me out and removing the invalidation in my a pattern of sorts.
Very well, you fought well enough. So mark on there that Hoshi is going to consume that point of paradox for you.
Thank
on your
you.
character sheet.
And they will bow very low in a sign of respect and thanks. They'll look over Hoshi just to make sure there's no wounds on him as well.
Hoshi looks fine to you, though you can see that there are some places where the hair is a bit missing in some places, so you can tell that there were wounds at some point, though they seem to have healed up enough. The missing kind of hair and parts that kind of indicate where they had been are still there, but he seems hale and healthy to you.
All right. I think they're going to sleep next to Hoshi for the night.
Okay. All right. If that is all that you all wish to do tonight, all right. Then the next day, you all will awaken. You may regain a point of willpower. If you had any bashing wounds, you should be healed now. Based on just how long that takes, it'll have been longer than 12 hours from sleep to wake up. And I leave the rest of the day to you all.
And Chihara will make his way over to the remaining individuals, to his fellow Cabal mates. Well, now that this is over, the house should be a bit safer to secure now, correct? Or am I wrong in that endeavor? Do you all think that there may be something lying underneath the surface? Oh, sorry, that's for Oliver and Bonnie.
There is definitely something in the basement.
Oh yeah, that basement. No, I don't feel great about that basement. Seems like maybe need an exterminator or something. You know, it's just something really weird down there. Just gave me some bad vibes.
I agree. I believe much still needs to be resolved regarding that.
How do y'all wish to approach it?
Well, we had hoped your side of the family would be able to help us with that.
That is true.
Yeah, I mean, you guys seem pretty adept at these kinds of things, right?
That is true. I will speak with Kasan and see what she has. Perhaps she has a way. I'm presuming she has a way to remove the balefire that we saw. I shall return shortly. Yeah, Chihara will make his way out.
Jiharo, you were able to find her pretty quickly. She is currently walking the grounds, and you can see now that there is daylight. You can see there are a few buildings that are in need of repair. Looking around, you realize the damage wasn't that bad. A lot of it is more surface area than, foundational. And she's currently going down with a few other people, and they're making notes of what needs to be changed and, what buildings could be improved, what kind of changes can be made. Let's see, come across her.
All right. There's a genuine smile as the realization comes into place that things will move on, perhaps even better than they were before. And he'll look towards her and say, Kasan, if I can have a word with you for a moment.
Of course, just you all can finish going through the rest of the damages for the most part. We can repair what can be repaired. And you see a few of the kinfolk kind of nod and bow. And a moment later, it is just the two of you. Is there something wrong?
We are unaware of how to remove balefire. the residence that we were sent to secure has that stench spread all across the basement, according to my friends. Do you know how to get rid of it?
It is a problem, but the process itself is fairly straightforward. First, it usually is coming from some sort of source. I don't know exactly what they would have used in your location, but if you can find that object and purify it, it should be fine. After that, I would strongly suggest destroying the object if possible. If not, then just throwing it away or, well, binding it someplace. But a blessing ritual should be enough. If you need, I could send someone to take care of that for you. I don't know if your friends are capable of something like that.
Not to my knowledge. If they have, I have not seen it perform. I will greatly appreciate you sending someone to assist us in this endeavor. As I have, has he seen this blessing ritual done before?
You have heard, definitely that the spirit werewolves can do it, that the urges can do it. I would be up to you if you would have watched them do it, but it's not a secret. You could have
Yeah,
seen it if you
I would have
wanted
seen. Okay, he would have. He would have seen it. Okay, he says he of course gives his thanks, bows very low, excuse me, and makes his way back to the fellow cabal mates and says, "Well, I have great news. We would just need to locate the source of this corruption, and from there, one of our kin will be able to perform a rite on the object to purify it of its malevolence. And from there, we could just remove the object, destroy it, and we should be good." Does that work with everyone?
Will we be able to observe the process?
Yes. It's no secret. Well, it was not a secret from me, and you all are now considered allies, so I don't believe they would have any reservation of performing this right in front of you.
I feel like you're making it sound too easy.
That's how Kansan explained it. It could be worse. And if that happens, then you have your rifle, flamethrower, pistol. I don't know what that object is, but whatever that object is.
Its name is Augustus Vinius Wu Tristan,
It has a name.
as of last night.
Augustus.
Phineas Wu
Phineas.
Tristan.
Makes sense. The combination of these weaponry gives a, I guess, European appearance. So Augustus, I guess, works with that description. Well, yes, you have Augustus to protect all of us in case things go wrong. Well, I am ready to go. Do you all have anything you wish to take care of here before we depart? Well, in that case, I will see you all in the car.
Sorry, I skipped out.
no
Or
worries.
next morning, I'm assuming, right?
Yes. Next morning, we're pretty much having one of our kinfolk coming to join us in the car to go.
Cool. And how much willpower do we regain while sleeping again, Ree? So, Oh, okay. Well, it's something. I thought it was nothing. I was going for
No,
a
it's
joke.
one.
Cool. One back.
You get one per sleep, assuming the sleep goes, well. You don't get interrupted or something.
Cool.
All right.
Wow.
All right, then you all are able to get into a car, and you see that the person who joins you is looks to be elderly, maybe in her early 50s, maybe late 40s. You aren't quite sure. She has a bit of kind of hair that's graying. She is kind of kept flowing down the back, and then a single braid in the center. And she's wearing what looks to be kind of like a traditional kimono to you, Jaharu, and you recognize her as one of the few elders that kind of still live in the cairn. You know that she is the Atheurge of respectable power. You've never seen her directly participate in things. You know that the more powerful fetishes and talismans that are available were crafted by her, and that she has a very good relationship with the cairn spirit.
Wow. So he would bow very low as a sign of respect to her. Do you have a name for her by chance?
Yes, Toya.
Toya.
I'll type it for you. It's also in there, so you guys can spell it.
So yeah, he would bow very low. It says, "It's a pleasure to have you with us on this journey."
That is good. I do not get to leave as often as I used to. I'm told you will have a bit of a problem with some nasty item, yes?
Yes. Bellfire. Spread across the basement, from my understanding.
That sounds
It's in the basement
dreadful.
of the basement, actually. But
And you all are. You two are the ones with the fire, yes? And you must be the one that jumped from the top of the building. I find the three of you to be quite charming.
well, you're quite lovely yourself.
Yes, because they exist to be charming to you.
Charming in general, yeah. I typically aim for that. So, mission accomplished, I guess.
Chiharu just shrugs.
Shall we set off?
Yes.
And as you all pile into the vehicle, if there and another kinfolk does join you, looks like a young man, maybe in his early 20s, who does take care of the driving. And unless there are some conversations you all wish to have, we will skip ahead a bit and have you all kind of arrive just in the kind of sub basement. And as you are standing there, you feel kind of a chill wash over you, kind of this feeling of being watched. And as you look around and some of you begin to really question your decisions, a wave of what feels like sea air kind of washes out around you. And Toya looks at you all. It appears that this is quite unpleasant. You all should feel better now. I hope. I haven't really worked with a lot of name changers before.
Thank you. Did you do that?
Yes, it is a gift I received for myself in my younger years.
I wish I couldn't.
Perhaps one day the next generation will replace us soon enough. But as for your problem, it appears whatever is causing this corruption is a bit further below us, buried in the dirt.
Basement's basement. Told you.
Yes. And Chiharu will start to make his way down into the basement to where the balefire is supposed to be.
And Oliver, if you want to stay up here, I would totally understand. We don't have to tell them what happened last time.
Hey man, I don't know what is in that basement. This is weird. What it is really off. And I mean with those dudes that just came by the Cairn, like, or whatever that place your family has, Shiharu, I don't even want to know what kind of bad stuff they were after down here. Like that it just seems pretty wild to me. Like I would I have to roll willpower or something to try and go downstairs if I wanted to, like,
Yeah.
Or does the
willpower
effect
roll.
fade?
I'll
don't know
be
if he's still
kind. I'll say no
traumatized.
willpower. I will let you can make yourself down. The effect seems to have faded. It's faded enough into memory that you can go. That'd be nice. Am I not merciful?
I am a merciful God.
But as you all are making your way down, you
Kinda
get
curious,
to
though.
the floor, and you see veins of that green sickly fire beginning to spread, and it looks to have gone maybe another half an inch, give or take a few centimeters, compared to from where it was before. And you can see now in the center of it is this small, almost pulsing circle. It's almost maybe, we'll say, 2 inches across. And Toya looks at you all and goes, yes, it appears that they were attempting to use something to make a hive here. It was disgusting.
Oh, did you say a
I would
hive?
need- Yes.
Do werewolves have hides? Hides?
Like spirals do. That's what they call their perversions of a cairn. But thankfully, this one was caught early enough. It could be undone for minimal problems later. We'll need to dig up the item in question. And you see she begins to shift, and her body grows in size, and she almost reaches 6.5 feet tall. And you recognize this Ichiharu as the not quite wolf form, but no longer human either, the in-between stage. And she takes her now thicker hands and begins to kind of rip away the dirt. And you all can see as she reaches down, her hands become covered in this kind of silvery light. And as it moves, there is this kind of some mist that begins to billow up as she begins to rip through the dirt. Is there anything you all do while she's doing this?
Admire and appreciation.
I think Chiharu would attempt to assist in a way, in his own method, using forces 3 to shift the earth. And yeah, they would shift the earth as well.
Okay, tell me how you're doing this.
They're going to use their feet. And as they use their feet to kind of like spin around in a circle, you kind of see like the wind kind of like shifting and picking up. And as it does so, it kind of wraps underneath the ground and almost scoops it up in a way. Like a little breeze.
Okay, that is pretty cool. That's going to be vulgar, however. So it's going to be difficulty 7. It's still vulgar. It's cool, but it's vulgar. So difficulty 7.
What if we all look away?
6. I thought 6, right? Is it 3 plus or 4 plus? Oh, it's 4 plus? Oh, good. Okay.
It's vulgar, because vulgar is 4, coincidental is plus 3.
Gotcha, okay. What did we all look away?
No, it's still vulgar.
Trying to help you out, man.
Witnesses, but it's still vulgar.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, spinning around does not create enough wind to affect nature, really. Only in the minds of children does that work.
It's like, come on, I was using the Avatar TV show. But yeah, that was also 2 successes.
You will gain a point of paradox, but you do help. And as you begin to kind of almost compact the dirt below as she is kind of removing it from above, you see what looks to be like the head of a staff. It seems to be made out of a kind of a blackened wood. And you see, Chiharu, a series of runes going down the side. And as each of you look at it, you feel a pain spreading out from the back of your head, almost like a cold fire. And as you attempt to kind of push it away, you blink. And when you open your eyes, you are no longer standing in that room. Each of you are standing in the air, almost not quite flying. As you look down, you feel the air beneath you is almost solid. And you see a woman standing in front of you. Her hair is long and jet black and tied up what looks to be like some sort of hair covering. She seems to be wearing a long, thick, looks to be almost floating based on how it's kind of wrapped around her garment with these complex runes going down the front of them. She looks at each of you, and as you all look at each other, you don't see each other. Eric, you look down and you see the hands of Gina, where yours should be. And you look around and you see the others around you, and you don't recognize them, but you can feel kind of that part of your brain telling you you've seen them before, that you know them well. The rest of you see people you've all seen when you first awakened. Each of you have different experiences with these figures. They've come to you during your seekings, during your journeys to learn more about the awakened. But as you all look around, before you have time to really process what's happening, the woman in front of you begins to speak. And although each of you realize you've never heard this language before, you seem to understand what she's saying. It is coming together. A tower to the heavens. A place of learning for all the world's people. And as you look down, you see a tower that looks to be larger than anything you could have ever comprehended. Almost the size of countries beginning to be built. You see towers and ramparts. You see people of differing sizes, of differing appearances, European features, Asian features, all moving about. Some are flying in the air similar to you all. Others seem to be climbing the walls. Others seem to be walking in normally. I never thought I'd actually be around to see it. But I suppose that is thanks to the four of you. Do you all say anything?
I'm aware that I'm not Gina, right? Like I have my faculties about me.
Yes, you all still think as you are. You just look around and see all these other people.
Has this happened to us before? Or this is the first time?
Nope. This is the first time.
Since I have past lives, do I know that this is my past life?
Roll me. What's your rating in past life?
I also have past life, sorry.
Okay. So then I will say both of you who have past
have
lives have
three
definitely
thoughts at past life. This is my past lives are familiar to me.
yes. Then both of you have experienced this feeling before, though you've never seen this particular moment. So you both realize it is very similar to when you tap in to your past lives, your past experiences, though this one seems to be much stronger than then. Usually it's almost like a kind of a hazy feeling. This one feels as if you were right there.
For all intents and purposes, this is not a dream. Like I feel like I'm actually here, right?
Yes, you can feel the heat. It feels very real.
Have we all reached enlightenment?
I don't know what's going on right now. Just go with it.
I wonder if the wheel of time has reached its apex and we have gone back to ourselves again.
Before you have time to ask any further questions, a figure begins to make his way towards you. He is almost walking the air as if he were moving on stairs. His head is shaved, and you can see there are some tattoos that seem to be magical as they almost pulse with energy that goes down the top of his head and then down to his neck, where there is this kind of thick leather armor kind of protecting his chest that turns into cloth down along his legs. And as he approaches, you all recognize the object in his hand, a long black staff with complicated runes that seem to be identical, though in better shape than the one that you were just staring at. And as he approaches, he speaks in a deep, almost crushing voice. It almost feels as if his words have a tangible weight on the four of you. It is good to see you all together. It has been almost 2 decades, but I'm glad to see the tower is progressing.
You're welcome.
It even looks
Oh,
like
you know,
you all
these
have
things
grown
take
more
time.
powerful. But there was something that I wanted to show the 5 of you. Will you join me? And before you all see what happens next, you feel yourself almost as if something has reached out and grabbed hold of you, begin to pull you away from the image. And you can see the 6 figures turn and begin to fly away. And as you kind of deal with the sensation of your perspective suddenly shifting and changing, you find yourself laying on the kind of hard dirt. And you look around. Toya is looking at each of you confused. Are you all right?
I look back equally confused. I don't know.
What do you mean by the 5 of us?
Now it is just the 4 of you. But then there were you 4 in the vision. Then there was the woman that spoke to you, and then the 6th person who arrived was the man with the bald head.
Maybe there is a 5th one of us. Like a special guest star never showed up.
Yes, yes. Very mysterious.
So you all experienced that as well, correct? That was not just me.
If you're referring to flying in the air over a colossal tower larger than anything I could possibly imagine while speaking to people I've never seen before, but clearly who knew me, yeah, I think we all had the same treatment.
So that tells me that was not enlightenment. In that case, what was it?
Our past lives.
Did those maybe the basement was filled with drugs? Maybe that's what those, you saw black spiral dancers. Maybe that's what they were after.
So what you're
Some sort of-
telling me is that Bellfire is just another form of cocaine? Is that what you're telling me right now?
Maybe more than that.
Well,
Perhaps it,
hallucinogen, but
yeah, perhaps it has some other alternative effects.
like a
all of us-
shroom or an LSD kind of,
All of us
mean-
had the same vision. It has drugs created the same vision for more than one individual before.
Magic
yes.
drugs, maybe.
Yes. Usually not at the same time, but yes.
We
Maybe-
appeared as our past forms. Perhaps it is a journey that is merely continuing from our past lives.
Toya-san, are you familiar with this by chance? Have you heard of anything like this before?
I have heard of visions granted by the spirits, of course. More than a few have requested opportunities and assistance through visions, but I'm not sure about what you all are speaking about. I could ask a few spirits if they know anything about it, if you'd like. What exactly did you see?
Chihara will essentially recount the entire experience that he saw. Wait a second. The runes on the staff and the ground, you said they were the same, correct? Were they similar to the runes that the sister showed we were on the tree?
You do see one of the runes on the staff, both in the vision and in the one in front of you that Toya's holding, is exactly the same.
You see them pause. There's a connection to this in the Umbra. Those runes are my sister, my Necha. She showed me a rune that she saw that had the exact same sort of rune in the Umbra. There has to be a connection with these runes. It was a spirit associated with, well, they call it, we call it the Weaver. It's spirit of order, I guess you could call it. And there's definitely more than meets the eye, because the Weaver is not associated with Balefire. Balefire is the worm. But these runes were the same runes that the older gentleman had in our dream. So maybe these runes are not worm based?
What is associated with the Weaver?
The Weaver is order, civilization, technology. There is a tradition, I think, that uses technology to their advantage.
Like the technocrats?
Yes, that would be considered an extreme form of the Weaver. Very extreme form. Virtual Adepts, I think, is another. Not as
Roll
extreme.
me your intelligence in either occult, entropy, or if you have lore traditions. You can
Okay,
roll that.
Yay! What
You have
difficulty?
lore traditions. 6.
6. Okay.
Time to
Ooh,
reward
nice.
my
4 successes.
4 successes. Okay. So Chihiro, you are aware that
Body knows everything.
she does- okay.
That was just initiative. It was the wrong button.
Okay. I was like 9 successes.
Wait, you rolled 2, 4, 5. You should have gotten 5 successes. It didn't count 10s twice for some reason. So, all right, well, so 3 and 5. So I'll start with you both now. You both know that what the werewolves refer to as the Weaver is referred to as static or stasis for you all. You know it is one of the 3 kind of fundamental parts of reality, partnered with dynamism and entropy. You don't know what the thing is that the werewolves are referring to, Bonnie. But Jaharo, you are kind of vaguely aware of what they're talking about with the Weaver and the spirits associated with it. You'd know that the technocracy is very similar in purpose to what they do, as both are kind of focused on preserving things and kind of keeping technology and human nature and kind of science and all that going forward. In its kind of worst extreme, it is kind of like freezing everything as it is, which is the thing that you wish to prevent. Bonnie, you know a bit more, and you realize that the corruption that you're feeling, that they refer to as Balefire, is more a form of destructive energy. And as you're kind of seeing it, you aren't sure if it's being caused by the staff or if there is something inside of it that is causing that. But you do know that it is being near it risks kind of destroying yourself by corrupting yourself over time. So it is, you know that it would be risky for you to kind of just hold on to it without changing it in some way.
So when you say changing it, what do you mean?
You know that it is possible to purify an object like this. You would need to do research on how to do it yourself, or if you're even strong enough to do it, but it is possible to do, to kind of separate the corruption from the object. And based on what you're seeing from the object right now, it seems that it is very powerful. You would need to do more time to see what exactly it's doing, but you think that the corrupting part, that kind of destructive energy, wasn't there originally. And with enough time, you could probably get rid of it and keep whatever the staff was intended to do in the first place.
So originally it was static energy that has been corrupted to a destructive force.
Yes.
And we can remove the corruption. But can we, but do I know what happens to the corruption after it's removed?
You do not. You'd have to look into how to take care of that.
Mm-hmm. Did Oliver come down with us?
He was he was trying to he found his courage. And probably a little bit more curiosity
He
necessarily than courage.
found
His
lion heart.
he has a way of sticking his nose into places where that doesn't belong. Gets him in trouble a lot.
Oliver, how extensive is your library?
Well, I mean, that's a big question, you know. That's how extensive can any library be, really? Like,
Big as in your library is big.
I mean, should I roll to see how big exactly it is, or would you be
You
able
are
to?
you are pretty confident that most information would be in it if you looked hard enough with enough time.
Not about the size of the library. It's about the quality of the books.
That's what they all say.
Sounds like an amateur librarian to me.
Do you even do a decimal system?
I mean, I didn't invent the Dewey Decimal System, but
do you even use it?
I mean, that's more for other people.
To each their own.
I don't really like get a whole lot of other people in my library, but I mean, if we look long enough, we can probably find whatever we need. Might just take a while because there's a lot of books, and they don't all fit on my, little e-reader.
I can do.
They do not all fit on my e-reader, unfortunately. So I've had to improvise. That's why it's hard sometimes to look up stuff when I'm out in the field. I mean, there's a lot of space on these things. Oh, lots of books. I just have a lot more.
This staff is not, its current form is not its original.
I mean,
it's been corrupted.
So then we need to find a way to cleanse it.
Given enough research, we may be able to find a ritual to cleanse it. I believe we have some reading to do.
I believe you are correct, Bonnie. A lot of reading to do. Hopefully less, although I do love reading. Much better than fighting.
Well, it sounds like you all wish to keep this item. Do you still want me to do the ritual for it?
I don't believe that we should be touching this item or being near it for any amount of time.
Perhaps a baggie for it.
It's being corrupted is a corrupting force. Anyone around it will be subject to its influence.
Do you have a lead line baggie? Maybe it's like radiation,
Perhaps something that will keep it in stasis until we know what to do with it.
We can provide a safe place to store it for a time, if you prefer. It is the least we can do. It'll give you all time to come up with a safe location for it for yourselves, I suppose. I would recommend be very careful with tainted objects. They are dangerous.
Well, the danger of the lure of power and all that, yes.
Very well. So our plan is to look for a ritual to cleanse this item. How would this ritual differ from the ritual that Toya-san will perform? Would it be the same or would it be different?
Well, how would the ritual that she would perform work?
That would purify the object, though I cannot guarantee that whatever changes your people may have made to such an item would still be there. So I don't know if it is important to you all. You may not want my assistance.
So your purification will remove the corruption, but possibly
it will render the staff inert.
Yeah, mundane. I see.
And I don't presume that the people who have sent us here would be quite happy with that.
Very well.
I might be confused. Where did the staff come from?
Brown, correct?
You have no idea.
Oh.
So
the only time you've seen this staff is in that vision. You've never seen it before. Before that.
And then we woke up and the staff was there?
Yeah, you saw her pull the staff out of the ground when she was getting the source of the balefire. But then the moment she did that, you also saw the vision where you saw the bald man who was also holding the same staff in his hand.
And is the balefire removed?
Yeah, that's what we asked.
It's the corruption, the balefire, which is the corruption, is still in the staff. So you can still see it and it is still giving you that same uncomfortable feeling while she is holding it.
Well, I'm assuming that since the mages own this house before, they might know about this. So we could probably ask them if they're okay with this becoming mundane.
I'm trying to go back to our main quest, which is we just wanted to like reignite the node here. If we remove the staff, is the node fixed?
My roll me a perception awareness roll, but from the looks of it, it looks better to you. Like just look from what you all can see now, the part of it that made the ground kind of look sickly seems to be changing and kind of getting better. But you can check the magic itself, you know, to see.
You said perception awareness?
Perception and awareness.
Is there a
Not
difficulty?
awareness. It's 6 if you try to do it mundanely, but you can then reduce the difficulty if you wish to use your magic to help you. Assuming you have prime. If you have prime 1.
1.
1 success, okay.
Is there anything ever easy like 2 or 3 target number? Like everything's 6 or 7, right? I mean, they're big numbers.
I mean, you can spend quintessence to reduce difficulties. But with a 1 to you, Eric, the
Sorry.
yes, to be clear, you
I
all
haven't
can
used
spend
any quintessence. I don't
yes.
know what ideas for yet.
You all can spend quintessence to reduce to magical casting difficulties.
Why did I go through much willpower?
Just
That
want to
was
do that. I'm
your
gonna take
choice.
I
another
100%.
day.
yes.
Another day. With 1 success, it looks better to you. Previously, looking at everything, it looked sickly. Now it almost looks like it's. You can tell it's recovering. So it's like if before it looked wounded, now it looks like it's still beat up, but it's kind of getting better. To you, Chiharu, you can tell that the magic is flowing again. You can tell it'll take some time before it's kind of the node itself is back up to its full strength, but you feel like you have accomplished what you set out to do. So I would describe it.
So, based upon the key that I can sense in this Karen, we have essentially performed the task as it's getting better just by removing the staff. The staff itself, I don't believe, is part of this initial quest. So if you all wish to extract the staff and adjust it, then it's on your own court. I have no reservations against it.
Why don't we just bring it back with us to the pyramid?
That's what you desire.
Who better to deal with it?
Well, it depends upon what you wish to do. If you wish to utilize it, then yes, they will most likely be our best allies for it. If you just wish to get rid of it, well, and then you gesture towards Toya-san, we clearly have an avenue for that as well. I am perfectly fine in either direction, as this staff does not have a particular tie to me.
I disagree. I think this staff has a particular tie to all of us, or else we have not seen it in the shared vision.
I agree with Eric.
You've come across this staff already before. You may just not remember it,
We all have.
but we've all been touched by it in one way or another.
I don't think we should discount it just yet.
I'd say we bring it back with us.
Very well.
Also, got to get my 40 G's. You know, I'm not paying for this house out of my pocket. You know, they owe me some money. You know what I'm saying?
I also put money in this.
I need my down payment.
Yeah, if they want this house, they have to pay for it.
Actually, you know what? Let's just keep it. We can put it out. It's a very easy mortgage. We just take it, and then we could lease it to them, right? Get a little extra income on the side.
Can we use this as an investment?
Yeah, why not?
Let's
They
use
got the
it as
money.
investment
If
property.
they want the node.
Yeah, dude.
They can give you a bag that will be able to hold it at least for a time, though I would not use it as a permanent solution. Give me a few hours.
Also, how do we pay property tax on this since we're not married?
Well, I will leave mortal problems to you all.
You would
told you I was gonna
still
leave.
file
Oh, yeah.
jointly if it's co-signed.
So we have to file jointly. Oh.
Yes.
But
For
only
this,
on this property, not on any of our other finances. Like,
correct.
all right.
As you all are reflecting on taxes and other mortal issues, can I have everyone make me a perception and awareness roll, please?
You just made me do that. It was terrible.
Difficulty 6 again.
Difficulty
You know what?
6.
This one I'm
Oh.
going to use my prime
Actually,
to reduce it.
Eric, you don't have to roll for this.
Why?
That stare, that Homer
don't have to
stare. I'll use button.
You will see this.
I'll
What
just
did
see
you
it.
say? You said 6?
That's never
Difficulty
good.
6.
You said I can use my prime to reduce the difficulty, right?
We have 4
Contestants.
successes.
Yeah, you can use prime. You can use contestants, or you can roll your R to reduce it using prime.
Okay, I'll do that first.
I have 4
I
successes.
hope you see that. 4 successes. Okay.
All right, so that'd be 2 successes for the Arete, so that reduces the
Difficulty
by
reduces
2.
by 2. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so it'll be from 6 to 4. All right, thank God for that. 1, 2, 4 successes.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, this guy.
As you all are debating what should happen next, you all see in the air above you a kind of a black and gray flame begin to erupt in the ceiling. It looks almost like a cloud of fire has suddenly spread apart. And for just a moment, you see a woman reaching towards you all. Part of her face seems to be twisted in both fear and hope as she holds out her hand towards Eric. But a moment later, spectral chains launch forward around her and violently rip her back.
Can I ask?
For you, Eric, as you see this person, your blood runs cold. You recognize this scene because you saw it happen when it happened for real. The day that your magic awakened. The day that your wife passed away. And you see her for just a moment. You have no idea what's happening as this spectral woman reaches for you. And just as you feel that you could reach out and grab her, she's ripped away from you again. And that is where we are going to end our campaign for the evening.
You son of a bitch, Reed. Son of a bitch.
Thank you.
Have I not gotten it enough?
There's never enough.
Nope.
Thank you all for watching our episode today as we make our triumphant return to Twitch and the YouTubes. And as you can see, the drama is never far from this cabal. Really quickly, I am the storyteller for this wonderful campaign. You could find me on the socials at Big Dudery and ReeRoles to discover more things that we're doing here. Aurelian Knights will be back very soon, so if you want to see us finish our D&D campaign and see what chaos they get up to there, please give us a check here on Sunday evenings. If you like fantasy novels, you go and search royalworld.com/Heaven's Chosen to read about a young vampire cultivator who's trying to make her way in the universe. And I believe that's all the announcements from me. So we'll go ahead and reverse order and let all these wonderful people tell you where you can find all the cool stuff they're doing. Starting with Kira.
Oh, revert. Oh, okay. Hi. So I'm Kira858. So this, you said this was the season finale? Like,
We'll probably have 2 more episodes after this for the season.
oh, okay.
ends.
I like
So
you said the
we'll let it
campaign. I was like, what was that? Okay.
Getting close.
Getting close. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this episode. In terms of content, of course, you can be able to find me here as well as twitch.tv/Kira858, as well as our YouTube channel, The Cookout TTRPGs, where you can find a wide variety of TTRPG goodness. As stated before, we'll have a pretty big project coming up starting in February, so just keep an eye out for Twitter for that. As well as I'll be working on 2 new comic books that will be coming out in the near future. Part of my brand new comic book company called Snowstorm Comics. So all that is going to be announced relatively soon. So when it does, be prepared. And that's it for me.
All right, next up, Carly.
Hi, this is Carly playing Bonnie. You can find me here or on Twitter at Carly Plays Games.
All right, next up, Quinn.
Yo, hello. My name's Quinn Sellers. I'm emotionally torn apart right now, so apologies. But no, I had a blast. You can find me on the Twitters at Q Sellers or the Mercenary Storyteller. I don't know if I have a lot going on right now, but something that took 2 years for us to do. The last issue of Electropunk, Children of the Future, was released. I don't know if anyone was following B. Dave's campaign on that, or Jeff Walmerster, the artist. So we did a campaign for 5 issues, and we just released the 5th issue. So we're looking to get it printed soon. So glad that's finally getting done. But yeah, that's it.
All right, last but certainly not least, Sir Monolith.
Yeah, I mean, just like pretty much just here at the moment. I'm not really doing a whole lot else, so looking forward to everything Night's starting up again, and maybe Price of Power, whenever we have time for that, but we'll see.
All right. And with that, I thank you for watching our wonderful story here, and be sure to join us next week as we continue to see what our cabal gets themselves up to, and if they can right some wrongs.
Wait, what wrong?